is up, guys, and welcome back to GameBird Weekly. We've got an exciting episode for you today, episode number 7, where we're talking all things Xbox. That's right, Microsoft had their Developers Direct today. We're going to be talking about an interesting quote from the Microsoft CEO about games on other platforms, as well as Game Pass, what's coming to Game Pass, and then we're going to wrap things up with one of my favorite but newer segments, You Want to Get Nuts?
Let's get nuts.
All right. But without further ado, what's up, man?
Not much. Just, living life. How's everything going with you?
Going good. And for you guys at home, if you don't know, Colin has a brand new YouTube channel. He's been putting out content every week. He's got some reviews out, he's got some rankings out, and he has his most anticipated games of 2024 out. But Colin, what's your most recent video that you just put out today, I believe?
I just put out my definitive rankings of all the Yakuza games. So Yakuza, Like a Dragon games, let's see, Judgment and the Judgment series. So
Nice.
a lot of games in there. I think it's like 13 games ranked. So
Hell yeah. And by the way, you can say the definitive list. I don't mind. Everyone else, you'll just have to cope. It is the definitive list. I just put out a video today as well about the future of Nintendo Switch Online, what may or may not be coming to that service, whether it's new console libraries or different features, bells and whistles. Go ahead and check that one out, guys. I'll have it linked in the description box below. I'll also have Colin's link down there so you can find him at any games necessary. But before we dive into our first topic, what have you been playing, man?
So I have recently picked up Alan Wake 2, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. Earlier today, I got to the part that everyone's been talking about as one of the coolest parts, part of a video game in 2023. I'm inclined to agree. It was
Nice.
pretty awesome. I won't spoil it here, but if you are interested in horror games or you're just interested in like genre bending games, mind bending, Alan Wake 2 was phenomenal.
Hell
Um,
yeah. I'm
but
stoked to hear that. Obviously the game's had tons of praise, but as someone who thoroughly enjoyed the first game way back on the Xbox 360, I'm excited to finally jump into this one. How's the story, without spoilers, how's the story so far?
the story is out of control. It's all over the place, but it's amazing.
So
Yeah,
typical
stay
Remedy
tuned.
fashion.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It makes as much sense as Control, but in a good way.
Hell
Stay
yeah.
tuned for my review probably next week.
Oh, sweet. Nice. Looking forward to that. I've been playing, I actually just wrapped up Final Fantasy VII Remake. Oh my gosh, that game is so good. I do have a few gripes with the combat system. I know a lot of people really love that, but small things aside, the game is phenomenal. Beautiful visually. The story is super engaging and fun and action-packed and dramatic. The music is phenomenal. So I just booted up Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, the little DLC that they added that takes place during Final Fantasy VII Remake. Just barely sunk my teeth into that, so no thoughts on that one yet, but I'm just getting pumped for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming out next month. I'm so excited for that game. It looks so good. I don't know if you caught that launch trailer that they just released, I think this past week. It is epic. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's super epic.
I'll have to check that out. I haven't seen that one, but I mean, everything I've seen so far has me incredibly excited. I cannot wait to dive back into that series. The Integrate is really good. I think you're going to really enjoy it. There is a mini game in it that I think is one of the best mini games that they've ever put in one of their games. So
Sure.
I hope it's included in the Rebirth because, yeah, Fort Condor, I think it's called Fort Condor, is really cool. You'll see.
Nice. Hell yeah, looking
Yeah.
forward to that. But without further ado, let's dig into our first topic. And that's going to be the Microsoft Developer Direct today, or Nintendo. Whenever I hear the word Direct, everyone's using Direct now. I can only think of Nintendo Directs. It's such a tongue twister. But no, Microsoft showcased a Developer Direct today. They showed off a handful of games as well as some of the studios behind those games and the process of making those. What did you think about that? Let's dive into like some of those announcements and our thoughts on that.
All right. Do you want me to just start with like a overall view of how I felt about it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. And then we can just dive one by one.
Sure.
So overall, I give it an 8 out of 10. I think Microsoft succeeded in what, they set out as their goals to accomplish with the Developer Direct. Um, there were some things that hit better than others, but I think that there was something there for fans of every genre of
Mm.
game. So yeah, I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10 overall, and can't wait to dive into all of these cool games.
Yeah,
What about you?
I think I land the same as you. I think an 8 out of 10, maybe even an 8.5 just because um we'll dive into the announcements in a bit, but we got basically everything they showed is coming out this year, which is I feel like this is the presentation that Microsoft has needed for years now. I feel like every showcase they've done has been like, look at all these games we're making, look at all these games we're making, look at all these games we're making, but never like concrete, here's the games that you're going to be able to play this year. We've kind of just been like waiting. They did all the acquisitions. And finally, after years and years of waiting, we're finally seeing the fruits of the labor. We're finally getting confirmation about of a handful of games that we could play. And they're already set up now to have, just based on this, in my opinion, they're already set up to have a great 2024 as far as exclusives go.
Absolutely. If the hypothetical Switch 2 doesn't happen, I think Microsoft is due for probably the best year out of any of the
Oh, yeah.
console manufacturers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think it's safe to assume that like what was it, four or sorry, 5 or 6 games they showed today. Um, I have to imagine there's probably at least one or two other things that we might expect from Microsoft by the end of the year. So that's a solid year. So yeah, I couldn't
Yes.
agree more with you. This is definitely going to be a strong year for them, which they've needed for well since the start of Series X.
Absolutely. So yeah. So I guess we'll go and dive
Yeah.
right in. The first game they showed off is probably my favorite of the lineup that they have this year is Avowed,
Mm.
made by Obsidian, and it's coming out fall 2024. Um, yeah, my favorite Obsidian game is Pillars of Eternity, and Pillars of Eternity 2. So I cannot wait to dive back into this world that they've created. The combat looks great. Uh, the art style like showed off even better than it did last time. I know a lot of
Hmm.
people weren't big fans of it, but I think the stylized art style is amazing. One thing that I wish I would have seen during the conference was like some of the skill trees. I don't know what the
Mm.
RPG mechanics are in this game. Like, I hope it's not just all weapon based. What did you think of Avowed?
Avowed wowed me. I think it looks. I agree with your sentiment. I think the art style looks fantastic. It's very colorful and vibrant, which is really cool. I prefer that over the very grays and browns that you typically get with a game like Fallout. So seeing Obsidian do something like Skyrim, but make it super vibrant and colorful and give it a little bit of personality with its art style is exciting. Like you said, the combat looked fast and fluid and fun. I loved the swapping that you could do between the different weapons and spell types. Looked really fun. And then they showed off this really cool. I believe it was like a side quest that you could run into in the game where there's a dead character and you're trying to decide between these different NPCs, like what happened to this guy, who murdered this character. So I think little things like that make the world super immersive and definitely give you that sense of player choice that leads to a deeper immersion in the game. I think it looks phenomenal. The only thing that I really would have liked to see, other than like you said, skill trees, is some like a story trailer. A couple of the
Mhm.
games they showed tonight, the trailers were a little bit like more story and had a little bit of a cinematic element to it. We got a nice deep dive on gameplay, but I would like to see a little bit of a story trailer that helps kind of set up the narrative that we're going to be going into when this game comes out. But obviously, there's time for that at a later day.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Obsidian is known for their storytelling, they're master storytellers. Um, the one thing that I think Outer Worlds fell short on is some of the combat wasn't like the
Sure,
greatest. I mean, I feel like it falls behind some other like better studios in that type of setting, but
sure.
as far as storytelling, I think Obsidian knocks it out of the park with every game they make. So I'm sure that they will release a story trailer prior to release. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, no, I agree. And then again, it was a pleasant surprise to see that that one's coming out fall of this year. Again, it was like what going into this presentation, I was like, man, I hope they got some release dates because showing all these games over every year without a release window is getting painful at this point. So that was super exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah. Can't wait to play this one in fall. Hopefully it sticks to schedule. Um, yeah, hopefully we don't have another Starfield on our hands where, it's supposed to release in November of 2022 and it's delayed almost a year. So,
Right, right,
yeah. All right.
all right.
Any other thoughts on Avowed?
Now let's go to the next game,
All
which
right.
is
Hellblade 2.
yep.
This one's set to release May 21st, 2024, by Ninja Theory. Um, it looks visually stunning still. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like it looked incredible at the Game Awards. I mean, technology has come, a few like quite a ways
Sure,
3 years ago, but it still looks amazing. Um, I am tempted to buy a nice pair of headphones to do the
sure.
3D audio that they were talking about. Later news came out about this one. I don't know if you heard about this. It's going to be digital only, and it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
49.99. So,
Yep.
um,
And it also in case you missed this one, I was seeing this on Twitter that I guess it's reported that the length of the game is roughly the same as the first one, which is around 8 hours or a little bit more than that, 8 to 9 hours as well.
that could be good. Like I I do not think that they need to make the next God of War competitor, you know? I think this can be its own thing, and I think dealing
Yep.
with like the mental health stuff, I think it's really cool. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. One of my big concerns with Hellblade 2 was obviously from a technical standpoint, this game with its first few showings looked masterful. So I was like, how can this studio that's smaller? It's not like this huge AAA studio. They've got one game under their belt. Like, how are they going to live up to the expectations of what they're showing? And then pulling that down to an 8 hour experience makes me actually more confident that this game is going to blow people away because now they can have a very focused contained story that really dives into that mental health emotional experience that I feel like you're probably in for a really intense 8 to 9 hours is what I'm expecting. And it's got the $50 price point. So it's not like you're being charged $70, even though I have zero issue with paying 70 for a 10 out of 10 8 hour experience. I don't have an issue with that. Um, but I know for a lot of people, they're like, they want everything to be 100 hours plus. But just make the game phenomenal. Make me step away and go, wow, that was incredible. And it looks like they're doing some really cool stuff on the technical side. It looks like the acting's going to be really good. The writing's going to be interesting. I think this looks awesome. I'm stoked for it.
yeah, it does look amazing. I definitely need to play through the first one.
Hmm.
It's a blind spot for me, but I did play what was their other game? It was Heavenly Sword,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I played Heavenly Sword back in the day and, despite like the middling reviews, I really enjoyed it. It was,
Right.
one of the better experiences I had on my PlayStation 3. So,
Totally.
I cannot wait to check this one out.
Right.
Yeah, May's right around the corner. So
I know that's a lot sooner than what I was expecting. I expected this one to possibly be delayed into next year, just because again the visuals and like the technical feats of this game, with that rough estimate of how long to beat, this makes a little bit more sense that it's coming out sooner. I do want to note though that I feel like this is an example that we are like, I know we've talked about this before and people talk about this all the time, but we are getting so much closer to the digital only future. We had Alan Wake, one of the biggest games of the year, digital only. Now we're getting Hellblade 2, one of the most anticipated games from Microsoft, digital only. So just interesting thing that I thought I'd mention.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't have too much more to say about this one.
Yep.
If you
No.
Okay, all right. Let's move on to the surprise announcement or surprise guest at the Microsoft conference
Hmm.
or developer direct. Visions of Mana. So this one's set to release summer 2024. It's by Square Enix, obviously. Yeah, some of the takeaways that I have is the combat looks really fun. I
Hmm.
love the idea of casting spells while up in the air. I love the art style of this one. I think all the
It's
Mana
good.
games look, yeah.
It's really good. I love how vibrant, like it's so vibrant and colorful. I love it. But go ahead.
Yeah, and then one takeaway that I noticed is it didn't say Game Pass at the end, so I don't
Mm,
think this is one that's coming to Game Pass, which is a
mm.
bummer. Bummer. Like, it would have been a big get for Microsoft to get this on Game Pass.
Totally, totally. Yeah, no, Visions of Mana, I'm super excited. That was definitely a highlight for me. I grew up playing Secret of Mana on the Super Nintendo, so I love the Mana series, even though that's the only Mana game I've really spent time playing. So it's really cool to see this series kind of making somewhat of a comeback. Again, like you said, the combat looked really fun. I liked how quick it looked. I also liked the jumping in the air and casting spells from the sky, like you pointed out, but also that dash. There was like a quick dash that you could make both on the ground and in the air that just made the gameplay, and made your character seem a little bit more agile than sometimes you're used to seeing in games like that. Just a little bit more maneuverability. It looked like a big sprawling adventure. Art style was beautiful, music was great. I'm looking forward to this one, and I hope this is one that makes it onto other platforms as well because obviously big JRPG fan. I want to see games like this succeed so we can continue to get more of them. So hopefully this is something that's coming to the Switch too as well. I know we're talking about Xbox, but
I think this one has might have been confirmed for Switch,
mm,
if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I think we will see this on all three consoles. Yeah, I mean the mana games have like traditionally been on the
sure.
Switch, so or well on Nintendo platforms, I should say. So yeah, I can't wait to give this one a try. I need to give the other ones a try. I'm hoping due to this partnership that they have an announcement maybe during a summer showcase that all of the previous games are coming to Game Pass. I mean, I think that would be a cool partnership. But we will see. We will
All
see.
right.
Yeah.
What's next?
It's going to be
Sorry.
it's gonna no worries. It's gonna be Ara History Untold. This one's coming out fall 2024 and it's by Oxide, I
Right.
believe
This
is
was
the
the
publisher.
RTS game, right?
It's a 4X game, so it's I would say more turn-based strategy, like
Okay.
Civilization, more
That's
than
right.
like
Like
a real
Civ.
time.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's a super unique looking 4X game. I love the dynamic maps. It's taking things from other games that have recently released, like Age of Wonders
Hmm.
uh, 4. I think it's 4 last year, with the simultaneous turn. I mean, I don't know if this one is one that I would buy necessarily, but I would love to play this on Game Pass, which is coming to Game Pass. So I'm definitely going to jump into this one and see, do a couple runs through.
Right.
These type of games don't hold my interest long enough for like multiple playthroughs, but I mean, it's good for like a two or three playthroughs
Right.
on like a map. So I'm super excited for this one. I think they put a lot of thought into it. They've studied a lot of cultures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not everyone's cup of tea, but I think I think it's going to be a good game for people that are interested in these type of games. So, yeah,
Yep. Yeah, this one's kind of a blind spot for me. Like, this isn't typically a genre that I dabble into. The game looked neat for what it was. It definitely wasn't something that appealed to me, but I'm stoked for the people who enjoy these kind of games that they're gonna have something come into Xbox that at least looks to be, a little bit different, a little bit unique compared to some of the other games like this that are already out there. And like you said earlier in the show, there kind of was something for everyone. It wasn't like they just did one genre throughout this whole presentation. So it's nice to see something in a different category that's out there coming to Microsoft.
yeah, absolutely. One thing to note, I believe it said PC and PC Game Pass. I
Mm,
don't think it listed Xbox. I I mean, honestly, I mean, it'd be cool if it came to Xbox eventually, but these these type of games are best played on PC. Being
totally.
real,
Yeah.
too many menus, way too many
Yeah.
menus.
And a lot of
So
management.
yeah, all right. And then last but definitely not least, I think the game of the show, the one that everyone's talking about, is Indiana Jones. This one is set to release 2024 and it's by Machine Games. Some notes I have here is first person game. It looks like a ton of fun. That whip looks so cool. Um, I think the soundtrack's going to be amazing. It does not just look like Uncharted, where you're just shooting like hundreds of people. The villain looked really interesting. Yeah, I can't wait to try this one.
This game blew me away. I was totally expecting for them to do an Uncharted or Tomb Raider type Indiana Jones game. It, I mean, that's the easy thing to do, right? It's already a working formula. And so when I saw that it was a first person game, I was like, "Whoa!" Was not expecting that, and I think it's a really cool risk that they're taking with it. It opened up with some shots of like doing like puzzle solving and like tombs and like temples and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks like first person Zelda, like temple dungeon exploring, puzzle solving. I am all about it. I thought it was really cool how they do switch to third person during certain actions, like sliding down a pole or jumping across something. Combat looked fun. Like you said, the whip looks like a ton of fun. Using that in combat to attack, to pull people close, to swing from things. This game just looks like really cool, and it seems like they're really going hard with the tackling encounters in any way you see fit, whether it's through puzzle solving or through stealth or through combat. So really cool there. Like you said, phenomenal music. Takes you back to, or took me back to being a kid and watching those movies. And there's been a lot of duds for Indiana Jones in recent years with the movies. So it's cool to actually see something Indiana related and be like, this actually looks really cool. But yeah, no, that one really really surprised me. I thought the first person stuff just looked really cool. Um, True immersion. Really really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it looks really cool. One thing that has me a little concerned
Hmm.
is they talked about how there are going to be optional puzzle solving areas and stuff like that. And I just I just can't help but wonder, is there going to be some sort of like RPG mechanic in it? Because if
Mm-hmm.
not, like what is going to entice a player like me, like myself, to go and do those optional puzzles if all you're going to get is like an item that's like a screenshot or like a gallery thing like
Sure.
Uncharted did. Uncharted never really enticed me to, I don't know, go off the chart. So
Sure. No, yeah,
I
I
really
feel.
hope that they go
Yeah,
ahead. Sorry.
I feel like because obviously it's not going to be loot as far as gearing up. It's indie. It's going to be him in his classic look. But yeah, I think skill trees make the most sense because even like
Yeah.
Tomb Raider had some pretty fun skill trees where like they could have like a whip proficiency. that gives you new abilities with your whip or new combat techniques with your whip. You know what I mean? So I think there's a way they could do it. It'll be interesting to see. Do you know if because they did the Wolfenstein games? Do you know if there were skill trees in those? I've never played a Wolfenstein before.
So I only played a bit of New Order, but I didn't get far enough to get to a point where maybe that stuff came up.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely need to hear from people in the comments, like,
Sure.
what they did in the Wolfenstein games to get you to, go to, like, maybe not follow the golden path, because
Right.
I mean, for me, like, a piece of artwork is just not enough for me to get sidetracked for like an hour
Yep.
or so. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they entice you like they did in the Tomb Raider games with the, like you said, the skill trees, the weapon upgrades, the
Yep.
different things you got from completing those.
Right.
There was actually a reason. So I do hope that that is a thing. We will see. If not, I'm totally fine to beeline the story and have a great time with this one. So
Yep. And
yeah.
I want to point out too. I really love the name. I think the name sounds kind of goofy, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, but I love it. I just
It's
think it's a cool name.
it is a cool name, and yeah, hopefully this one is, goes up there with Raiders, Temple of Doom, and Last Crusade, and not Crystal Skull and what did we get
Right.
last year?
The Dial of Doom, I think. Dial of
Dial of
Destiny.
Destiny.
That was
There we
close.
go.
That was close.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought this up because they also showed that this game. I'm assuming it's canon, because it takes place in between the Last Crusade and Temple of Doom. Right.
Okay.
I think it shows a
Yeah.
timeline. It shows a timeline. It says this game takes place. I'm pretty sure it's between the. I'm pretty sure it said before the Last Crusade. In
Oh,
between those
nice.
two.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah,
So
I'm 100% here for that. I'm excited to go to Egypt. Um,
yeah,
I know they mentioned a couple other places, but Egypt was the one that stuck with me.
yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it just looked fun. I'm excited to do like dungeon temple puzzle solving. I loved. They showed a move where Indy grabbed the guy, pulled him close, and then popped him 3 times. I'm like, dude, that looks so fun. But,
It
but
does look
yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Anyways, that's pretty much it for the games. Is there anything, any other thoughts you want to throw out there about this direct presentation, or anything that you were hoping to see from it that you didn't?
No, I think I saw everything I wanted to see. I think they set good expectations.
Hmm.
It was cool to hear directly from the developers. I think there is a time and a place for that, and I think they did a great job, using that time to hear from the developers.
Totally.
Like, I think kind of what more we expect from like showcases and Nintendo Directs and stuff like that is games, 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 games,
Yeah.
games, games. No, brief stop. And I think that it was cool that they have a different thing that seems to be like an annual thing that they're gonna do where they deep dive into these
Yep.
games. So super cool. Great job, Microsoft.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah. It's. I feel like this was a win for them, and I feel like it's about time they've earned it. So. All
yeah.
right. Well, with that being said, let's move on to our next topic. And that is an interesting quote from Microsoft CEO. Colin, do you want to give us that quote?
Yeah, he said, Microsoft can now be a good publisher on Sony and Nintendo platforms. And that was the Microsoft CEO, Satya Nadella. I probably
Mm,
butchered that, but yes. So, I mean, a lot of people are like losing their minds and thinking that, Microsoft is switching to a third party developer or a third party publisher.
right.
Um, they've talked about like wanting to do streaming on devices. They want, I do think that, the Series X and the Series S could possibly be their last, actual consoles,
Hmm.
but I do not think that like Microsoft like is going away in the like being one of the front runners in the industry. So I think people need to, hold their horses a little.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting. I know, like, I saw rumors kind of first starting to circulate when it leaked that Hi-Fi Rush was coming to Nintendo Switch. Um, and people were like, what the heck? Another Xbox exclusive. And then rumors started circulating that Sea of Thieves is coming to Switch and PlayStation or something of that nature. And then this quote came out, and
Right.
then there have been other suggestions about bringing plans to bring more Xbox titles to PlayStation and Nintendo. And yeah, like people kind of went into a frenzy online. A lot of panic and worry. Oh my gosh, Microsoft is going Sega. And I don't see that happening anytime soon. I mean, I could definitely correction. I could definitely see it happening, but I could see Microsoft putting out maybe one more console before going becoming more of a third party company and really focusing their energy on Game Pass and how to make Game Pass profitable and the best thing out there to where everyone wants it. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it, it's tough because they're in a position where they've lost two gens in a row, you know?
Right.
And Microsoft,
Yeah.
obviously, they have bigger banks than both Sony and Nintendo, so they can afford to lose gens for years to come. I know a lot of suits at Microsoft are sick of Xbox and wish they could drop the gaming division, but I think it's the one thing that makes Microsoft kind of cool, and it to a degree has been very successful for them, especially in the past. So I don't know. I'm just not that worried about it right now. I feel like they're hanging in there. We'll see as more games like what we saw today and things like Fable down the road start to come to play. We'll see. Maybe Series X will have some sort of bounce back. They're no way going to hit first place this gen, but maybe they'll do better than what a lot of us are expecting.
Yeah, yeah, I just wanna, like, to reiterate your point, like, there's always, like, going to be a disconnect when, like, the CEO of a company is saying one thing and then, like, the
Hmm.
CEO of, like, the smaller division is like, "No, no, we're" like, that's taken out of context. I mean,
Hmm.
we haven't heard a statement from Phil Spencer on this, but, if I were an Xbox, like, only player, I would not feel burned by this until there's an announcement that Game Pass is coming to these other consoles
Right.
because Game Pass is really the reason to own an Xbox. Like,
Yep.
in my opinion, I like the exclusives are nice, but let's be honest, Game Pass is one of the best deals around, and I I don't see them putting it on. I don't see other consoles wanting it just yet. Like, while
Yep.
Microsoft is still a competitor, because I mean, I think that the attach rate to all the consoles, it would be really high.
Yep. And to your point, Colin, about CEO not necessarily speaking for the plans of the company. Um, I mean, Nintendo has way less money, way less resources than Microsoft does. The Wii U, their last gen console, sold 12 measly million units. Complete disaster, complete failure, and they have the hottest console on the market right now. So and Nintendo's had quotes from higher up saying that uh, that they don't see Nintendo as a games company anymore, but actually as an entertainment business, which had a lot of people freaking out, being like, "Oh my gosh, Nintendo might be leaving games. They no longer see themselves as a gaming company, as an entertainment company." And they're making a Zelda movie now that's being, funded by Sony Pictures. Did Nintendo go third party with their IP? No. So it's this isn't a warning sign or telltale sign that Microsoft is in really bad shape. So,
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Any other? I have nothing left to say on that.
no. No,
I
I
think
think
it's a.
next topic
I don't think
time.
it's. Yeah, and I don't think it's. I think it's a nothing burger right now. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't
totally.
worry.
All right, well, on
Oh,
to our next topic. and that one's going to be Game Pass.
Yeah, like I said, it's the best deal in town, and you know, Microsoft may not have like all the exclusives, or there's better exclusives on Sony and Nintendo as of right now.
Hmm.
Avowed and Indie might be the difference maker, but the thing that they do have above the other two is definitely Game Pass. And I just wanted to highlight some of the big games coming this year to Game Pass. We have tomorrow, so actually the day that everyone's hearing this, the 19th of January, Pal World is coming to Microsoft Game Pass for console, PC, and cloud, which is awesome. And so far, the reviews in progress I read on IGN and a couple other sites have been glowing, which is
Yeah,
surprising.
I watched a couple of video reviews about it saying it feels like it needs a little bit more time to bake in the oven, but that the foundation of the game is a lot of fun. So, I'm going to be dabbling into that. You're actually the one who showed me that first Pal World trailer, and I was floored. I was like, this is incredible. I don't know how they're getting away with this. It's literally they're literally reskinning like really popular Pokemon. It's unbelievable.
So if you're listening to this and you have Game Pass, give Pal World a try.
Yeah.
Um, Pretty cool.
Pokemon and
Uh,
guns.
exactly. What can go wrong? On February 2nd, we got Persona 3 Reload coming, day and date, which is an amazing get. That's going to be one of the best games this year. I can't
Hmm.
wait to play it, and I'm stoked that I get to play it on Game Pass. Next up, Ayuden Chronicles 100 Heroes is coming day and date to Game Pass, which is awesome. We have Hellblade 2 coming to Game Pass on the 21st of May, day and date. And then here are some of the other ones that I highlighted that are TBD, just a few. 33 Immortals is coming,
Mm.
which is that cool game that showed off during Microsoft Showcase. It's the like bullet hell
Yeah.
like 33 player co-op game. Looks really cool.
It looks like a really fun time.
Yeah, by all accounts, from people that played it at the Summers Games Fest, they said it's awesome, ton of fun.
Right.
Arc 2, I neither of us are big Arc fans, but I know that game's got a very popular, is very popular among certain groups of people. So that'll be coming. Bounty Star, which is the Devolver game that's like a mech game. It's
Mm.
like got that cartoony graphics that looks really
Yep, that's
cool.
right.
Coming to Game Pass day one. That's TBD. Citizen Sleeper 2. Um, I know both of us tried the first Citizen Sleeper. It's one of those games that I really want to go back to.
Hmm.
Really cool story-driven crew management space sim type of game. Dungeons of Hinterberg, which is like a Persona style action game with social elements that takes place on like a snowy mountain. Looks
Hmm.
really cool. Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. Um, it's the new action game from the Ashen developers that's coming day and date to Game Pass. Frostpunk 2,
Mm.
huge survival sim. The first game's amazing. If you haven't tried it, check it out. I do believe it is on Game Pass right now. This game's never coming, but if it does, Hollow Knight Silk Song's coming to Game Pass day and date. And then last but not least is a game called Towerborn. I think they showed it off. I want to say it was a Nintendo thing. It's a or maybe it was at the Game Awards. It's a new action RPG from the Banner Saga
I
developer.
feel like it was at the Game Awards,
Yeah, I
but
think it's the Game Awards, but it
yeah.
looked really cool. Towerborn. So that's also coming to Game Pass. And these are just ones that have been announced. I'm sure there's going to be other things this year,
Yep.
but I just think if we're talking about Xbox and like what type of year they're going to have, it's important to talk about Game Pass and what's coming to Game Pass this year. So, yeah.
Totally. And it sounds like Game Pass is going to be pretty stacked. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like the big one on there is Hellblade. Like getting a game of like that caliber that's one of the most hyped up Microsoft games that's we're kind of waiting for right now. So having experiences like that day and date on Game Pass is really cool.
Absolutely. So, yeah. And of course, Avowed. And then Indiana Jones is coming day and date as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
lots to look forward to.
That's
Uh,
crazy. Yeah, you're literally getting for a small monthly fee or annual fee, depending on how you pay, um, four of the biggest Microsoft games of the year in one package. It's pretty rad.
Absolutely, yeah. But yeah,
That's
that's it for the Game Pass segment for me. Don't know
all
if you have any
right.
other comments. Cool.
No, other than Game Pass rules, if you guys if you guys don't have an Xbox, check out Game Pass on PC. It's awesome. If you don't have a gaming PC and you have an Xbox and you don't have Game Pass, what are you doing? Get Game Pass. It's great. Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh, get a Series S. It's not as powerful as the X. It's a fantastic console. Make it a Game Pass device. It's so worth it. Um, but anyways, let's move on to the next topic, and the one that's my new favorite, and that's you want to get nuts? Let's get
Get
nuts.
nuts.
All right. So let's get nuts, Colin.
All right. Did you want me to start?
Yeah, let's have you start it off.
All right. So this one's not crazy nuts, but it's gonna be it would be pretty nuts if it does come this year. And during those Microsoft leaks, there was a rumor of an Oblivion remake. And
Mmm.
I think this year would be a great year to release it. I know we're getting Avowed, but Avowed is, a smaller scale game, and you know, I think some people are hungry for like a medieval large scale experience, and some people weren't super happy with Starfield. Oblivion is my favorite Bethesda game, so
Mm-hmm.
um, I think it would be really cool if they announced that for like their holiday game. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
would
Oblivion
be
remake.
that would be nuts.
It sure would.
If
So,
that happened. Awesome. I love that prediction. That one's so cool. Oblivion's fantastic. My first nuts prediction is gonna be, and we talked about this on a previous episode of Gamebird Weekly, but rumors surrounding Banjo Kazooie. Banjo's getting announced this year. That's my nuts prediction right now. I think Banjo's coming. I don't know if it's a remake. I don't know if it is a new entry, Banjo Kazooie 3, but we're going to get Banjo Kazooie announced. And to make the deal even sweeter, we're going to find out that it's also coming to Switch too.
nice. So when you say nuts, you mean nuts and bolts, correct?
Never nuts and bolts. We don't speak about nuts or bolts on this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, if those rumors are true, I think that we could see something at the next Microsoft showcase. Like, I'm excited to see who the developer would be, because I know the like Rare has their hands full with Sea of Thieves and Everwild, but I think there's plenty of talented teams, which we talked about on our previous podcast. So
Mm-hmm.
leave it at that. That's awesome. Um, so I feel like everyone's expecting like a Gears of War or Halo or some sort of prediction like that, but I'm gonna be honest. Microsoft first party, like their traditional first party games were never near and dear to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
But they did acquire a company that used to be near and dear to my heart. That company's Blizzard. And I think like the best thing that they could announce at BlizzCon this year would be the revival of StarCraft Ghost.
I knew you were going to say that.
And the Halo team is working on it. I like absolutely
mm.
want this. I think that uh Halo is the greatest StarCraft world ripoff that I've seen. I think
Mm-hmm.
they copied the Terrans, the Zergs, and the Protoss with their three different races.
Right.
I mean, you could argue that it's Alien versus Predator, but yeah, I think that they could make something really cool here. Yeah, definitely revive StarCraft Ghost, and then this one's kind of a twofer. At the same time, like it's about time that we get StarCraft 3. I think
Mm.
that would be amazing if we got both announcements for both of those games this year. Like a little twofer from Blizzard because Diablo just got its newest thing. World of Warcraft has been getting game after game after game after game.
Right.
What is going on with StarCraft? StarCraft's their best property. You heard it here. I know it's a hot take, but I absolutely love StarCraft. So yeah, that is absolutely what I'm hoping for. Any thoughts on those?
That no, that's a good one. My next prediction, this one's wild. So I'm going big with this one. Is that we talked about earlier about that quote about getting more games on PlayStation and Nintendo, and you know Phil Spencer making comments in the past about he'd like to see Game Pass everywhere. I predict I don't know if Sony's fly, but I can see Microsoft possibly persuading Nintendo into incorporating some sort of curated version of Game Pass on the Switch too. And maybe it's some sort of a deal to bring Xbox titles to Switch too. That wouldn't normally go there, you know? And it's just like a curated library that adds new things to it. It's maybe at a different price point, kind of how the PC and the Xbox library are different. Maybe it's not as robust as those two, but I'm predicting Game Pass. I could see it happening with Sony too, but they just haven't played nice lately. So I'm gonna predict Nintendo first. Down the road, maybe Sony also.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I could see that happening. I'm just wondering if like, they're gonna want to demo it on like smart TVs first, like with the
Mm-hmm.
streaming, or like, what their goal is. I mean, I know they just acquired King, and I know they're trying to like pump up their mobile. So
Mm-hmm.
we will see. Yeah, but that's an interesting prediction. I could see it coming true because I know, was it Microsoft talking with Nintendo about online functionality
Yeah,
and
they've
working with them on
reached out
that?
about that. Yeah, number of things even like even going as far back as I think it was around the GameCube slash Wii era where Microsoft wanted to cut a deal to be in charge of manufacturing hardware for Nintendo, like building their hardware. So they've always tried to have some sort of close relationship.
Yeah. I've got one more,
Cool.
and that'll be it for me. So Microsoft owns a little company called Mojang. Um,
Just a
and
it's a little one.
yeah, just a little company. I think that it's about time that they announced a Minecraft 2. I think like it would be a good way to make more money off of that franchise. I think, they could bring, like better texture models, like bring it into the 21st century, so to speak. Um, but yeah, I think a Minecraft 2 announcement might be on the way. Who knows? We'll see. I think it would be, a good way to celebrate that game. I mean, how when did that game first come out? It was like, um, let's see. It had to have been like almost 20 years ago. Well, no, like it had to
It's
be,
been a
it's had to be
long
like,
time. It's
it
been
has
a
to be a
long
long
time.
time.
That I mean, dude,
Yeah.
that would be massive. That would be an earth-shattering reveal. Minecraft is still one of the biggest games of all time. The thought of a
Yeah.
Minecraft 2, I just picture them doing the same engine, but it has ray tracing. Like it's just
Yeah.
like extremely pretty pixels. But that's funny. No, Minecraft, that would be massive.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
2009 is when it released. So,
Okay, so it's
wow.
like hitting that Kingdom Hearts territory.
Yeah. I mean, they could call it Minecraft 1.1.384.572, you know?
Reloaded.
Reloaded. Yeah, but I think that would be a good way to bring people that haven't played in a long time, like back for something new, cool, improved. Like, I mean, tech has come such a long way. And I know they've
Right.
been updating that game, but like, gosh, could you imagine that team working from the ground up on something, new,
Right.
something special, maybe round models. like completely changed the
Mm,
way that you think about building games like they did before.
interesting. Yeah. Yeah,
So we will
interesting.
see.
I
Yeah.
love it. I'm trying to think if I could come up with like one last ditch effort. Like the Microsoft space is fairly new to me. I've said it before in the cast. I did not grow up a Microsoft fan. I didn't start really enjoying the company until this gen, but because of Game Pass, what a value, what a great service it is. So I'm trying to think of. You already named a bunch of like safe guesses, so I wouldn't really say a new Gears of War is nuts. You know what I mean? Or a new
Right.
Halo game. So like those ones are too safe. I'm gonna bite off you with the Minecraft, and I'm just gonna throw this out there because I got nothing else. Um, Minecraft has covered a few different genres now. We have regular Minecraft, which is like your survival builder. We've got Minecraft Legends, which is your it's like almost like a tower defense, like minions. Or wait, no,
Uh,
that's Minecraft. What, what's the one where you're riding the mount and you have all the little followers and it's kind of
that's
like
Legend.
okay,
Isn't
Minecraft
that Legend?
Legends. Yeah, it's like an adventure like minion, but there's like tower defense moments where you got to guard your base from
It's like
invasions,
Overlord.
like Overlord. Yeah.
There you
And then
go.
there's Minecraft Stories. Was it back in the day?
Um, there's Minecraft Story Mode, which is the
Story mode,
Telltale,
not source. Yep, the Telltale
and then
one.
there's
Dungeons.
Minecraft Dungeons.
So
Yes.
we've covered a lot of genres. So I'm going to predict a brand new genre for Minecraft. It I probably should pick one. Um, I'm going to say a open world adventure RPG, which isn't too far off
Interesting.
from Minecraft, but I'm gonna say like story driven with dungeons and like big boss fights, voice acting. Maybe it's Jack Black actually is gonna voice Steve in the game,
Yeah,
in this game.
I we got Jennifer Coolidge signed on with the movie too, so
Yep. I
like
yep.
I think that we're ripe for another Minecraft, some sort of Minecraft game. Maybe not Minecraft 2, but yeah, another Minecraft game to coincide with the film.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say like a Legend of Zelda style Minecraft, or even maybe like a God of War style Minecraft. That's like
love
super
it.
violent.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, I think it's time to shine. And from what I hear, those games like they fit a niche, but like they aren't the greatest. I mean,
Right.
Dungeons and Legends, but I absolutely loved the first season of
Sure.
Minecraft Story Mode. So
Yep.
I'd love to see something like another take on like something that's more story driven. So like a open world RPG sounds really cool,
Right.
especially with
Yeah.
Jack Black and Jennifer Coolidge voicing the characters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's get it. All right. Well, I mean,
All right.
that was Colin and I getting nuts for you. But
Definitely
um,
nuts.
with that being said, I think it's time we wrap this thing up. And thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. Sound off below on what you guys thought about the developer direct from Microsoft. Let us know your hopes and your predictions for Microsoft this year. Do you think they might go third party down the road, or another route other than doing the traditional hardware? And let us know what you think is the most wild thing that could come to Microsoft down the road. Check out Colin's channel. Any games necessary, throw him a subscription. Check out his newest video where he ranks the Yakuza games. I'll have my latest video linked down below. Colin, anything you want to say before we go?
No, it was fun getting nuts.
It certainly was. We'll see you all on the next Gamebird Weekly. Peace.